The first hour of your morning may be the most important investment of your life. Most people start their day on autopilot. They check their phones, sip coffee, and rush into their routines, all without realizing that the first hour after waking may be the most critical window for influencing how long and how well they live. What you do before breakfast, those simple, early actions, could be either protecting your future or silently sabotaging it. And the best part? You don't need fancy equipment, special skills, or more time. You just need intention. Take Walter, for instance. At 65, he watched friends his age suffer strokes, heart problems, and cognitive decline. He felt like he was standing at a crossroads, but after attending a health seminar, he committed to 7 very specific morning habits. That decision changed his life. Today, Walter is 93. He lives independently, drives himself, and volunteers weekly. He credits everything to his morning routine. "What I do in the first hour after I wake up saved my life," he says. Let's look at the first 3 habits that reshaped his health trajectory, beginning with a glass of water. During sleep, your body becomes dehydrated, your blood thickens, and your heart must pump harder to circulate it. This strain builds microscopic damage in your kidneys and brain over time. Scientists even have a name for it: morning blood sludging. Left unchecked, it accelerates aging by up to 30%. But you can reverse it with one habit: drink a full glass of room temperature water the moment you wake up. Before you sit up, speak, or even think. Not coffee, not tea, water. One woman in her 70s, once facing dialysis, started doing this. 2 months later, her kidney function improved by nearly 30%. Her doctors were stunned. She did nothing else, just drank water first thing in the morning. The second habit is deceptively simple. Go outside. Morning sunlight is your body's primary circadian signal. It tells your brain it's daytime. When you miss this signal, your sleep cycles, metabolism, and even cognitive function suffer. Researchers found that seniors exposed to natural light within 30 minutes of waking have dramatically better sleep, lower blood pressure, and even lower risk of dementia. One man who battled chronic insomnia found relief just by sitting outside with his morning coffee. Within weeks, he slept better, had more energy, and felt calmer throughout the day. Even on cloudy days, natural light is 50 times stronger than your indoor bulbs. 10 minutes outside, or even by an open window, can reset your entire biological rhythm. Then comes movement, not a workout, just 5 to 10 minutes of gentle stretching, joint rotation, or standing sways. Think of it as lubrication for your muscles and bones. A woman once scheduled for knee surgery reversed her pain trajectory with just 7 minutes of morning movement. That's all it took, and she never needed the surgery. These 3 actions, hydration, light, movement, can be done in under 20 minutes, but their effect compounds over days, months, and years. They're not random habits. They are targeted signals to your body. I'm alive. I'm ready. Let's heal. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. And there's no better time to start than tomorrow morning. The rhythm you choose. Each morning is the story your body will write. Over time, when we talk about health, most people think in terms of nutrition plans, workout routines, or genetic luck. But sometimes, the biggest health changes come not from what you do at the gym, but from how you handle the first 60 minutes of your day. Those early minutes set the tone for your body's systems, your nervous system, your hormonal cycles, your metabolism, even your immune responses. They're like the opening paragraph of a book, and what's written there shapes everything that follows. That's why breath matters. Most of us breathe shallowly, quickly, and unconsciously. But when you intentionally slow down your breathing, inhaling deeply, holding, exhaling longer, you're not just calming your mind. You're actually signaling your vagus nerve to shift your entire body out of fight or flight and into repair and restore. This is not spiritual poetry. It's biology. Researchers have measured lower blood pressure, reduced inflammation markers, and even increased cellular repair activity after just 30 seconds of deep, rhythmic breathing. And in longevity zones like Sardinia, it's common to see elders start their mornings with breath, not because they learned it in a course, but because it feels good and it works. What follows breath is fuel. Not just food, but the right kind of food at the right time. Most modern breakfasts are disasters: toast, sugary cereal, coffee with cream. These create energy spikes and crashes, raise insulin, and inflame the body. They may satisfy short-term hunger, but they do nothing for long-term resilience. The centenarians, by contrast, begin their day with proteins and fibers, eggs, Greek yogurt, oats, nuts, leafy greens, berries. Nothing fancy, just balanced. These foods stabilize blood sugar, regulate hormones, and keep the body in repair mode, not fat storage mode. And then there's connection. Perhaps the most underestimated yet powerful act you can do in the morning is to speak to another human being. Not scroll, not email, but actually say hello, ask how they're doing, share a laugh or a kind word. Even 2 minutes of meaningful social contact can rewire your brain chemistry, lift your mood, and improve cardiovascular function. Lonely mornings are quiet killers, but connected mornings, even when brief, seem to light up something deep in the human system that promotes health and emotional stability. So tomorrow, breathe like it matters. Eat like you're fueling a body built to last. Speak like connection is medicine. Because all of it, breath, food, connection, becomes the script your body reads from all day long. And the more days you write a good script, the longer and better the story becomes. The mind needs morning care. Just like the body does so far, we've talked about the body, how to hydrate it, fuel it, move it, and give it sunlight and social connection to help it thrive. But a truly long and meaningful life isn't sustained by biology alone. It's guided by what's going on inside your mind. The quiet, invisible tone you set before the day even begins. What we've learned from those who live beyond 90 is this. They don't just take care of their bodies. They care for their inner world, too. They don't wake up dreading what hurts or what's missing. They wake up in quiet appreciation for what still works, for what they can still do, for what remains. And that kind of thinking, practiced consistently, literally changes the brain. Modern neuroscience has shown that intentional gratitude, when practiced within the first hour of waking, leads to measurable changes in brain function. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for mood regulation, decision-making, and resilience, becomes more active. Stress hormones like cortisol decrease. Heart rate variability improves, which means the nervous system becomes more flexible and responsive. Two crucial elements in healthy aging. But this kind of gratitude isn't vague. It's not just being thankful for life. It's specific, it's bodily, it's physical. In the blue zones of the world, elders often begin their mornings by whispering thanks to their own bodies. A farmer in Sardinia might thank his knees for carrying him through the fields. A grandmother in Okinawa may thank her eyes for letting her see the sea outside her window. These aren't rituals, they're habits, real, emotional acknowledgments of the body's quiet service. Patricia, a retired schoolteacher, once struggled with stubborn hypertension that wouldn't respond well to medication. After learning about morning gratitude from a health program, she began each day with a small practice, placing her hand over her heart and naming 3 things in her body she was thankful for. Within 3 months, her blood pressure began to stabilize. Her cardiologist thought she'd changed her meds, but it was just her mind, realigned with appreciation instead of fear. This isn't a miracle, it's physiology. When your brain receives a message of safety and gratitude, it shifts how the entire body functions. It moves out of stress, it softens inflammation, it boosts immunity, and it starts to heal. The best part, it costs nothing. You don't need a course, a coach, or a product. Just your hand on your chest, your eyes closed, and a few honest sentences spoken to yourself. I'm grateful for my hands, because they still let me write. I'm grateful for my spine, because it helps me stand tall. I'm grateful for my lungs, because they fill me with breath every morning. That's all it takes. 2 minutes of presence and truth. And if you do this every morning, your mind and body begin to remember what it means to live in peace instead of panic. So tomorrow, before you check your phone, before you think about your to-do list, place your hand over your heart. Name what still works. Name what you've been taking for granted. Say thank you sincerely. And then get up and move into your day with that energy. Because the greatest source of longevity might not be in what you do for your body, but in how you speak to it when no one is watching. Longevity is not just about years. It's about living fully awake and on your own terms. We live in a time where people chase health through complexity. They buy supplements, track their sleep with apps, try every diet, every biohack. But when you sit down with someone who's 95, still laughing, still walking, still remembering the names of their grandchildren, they rarely mention any of that. They talk about how they live, not dramatically, not perfectly, but intentionally. They say, "I always start my morning with care." And that care is not performance, it's presence. They don't rush, they don't reach for their phones, they don't skip over themselves. They begin their day in conversation with their body. A quiet, steady partnership that they've nurtured for decades. They treat their mornings not as a leftover space between sleep and tasks, but as the foundation of everything that follows. And that's the part most people miss. True health isn't something you achieve when things fall apart. It's something you invest in before they do. It's not reactive, it's preventative. And that prevention is never louder than in the morning. In the stillness of dawn, you get to decide. Will I enter this day with grace or with resistance? Will I fight my body or will I thank it? Will I ignore the tightness in my joints and the dullness in my mind? Or will I stretch, breathe, and nourish them into softness? Those questions are subtle, but the answers, repeated over weeks and months, shape who you become. The elders who live longest don't do extraordinary things. They just do ordinary things consistently and kindly. And because they began each day well, their bodies and minds stayed responsive, flexible, forgiving. They didn't burn out. They adapted. You don't need to become someone new tomorrow. You only need to notice the moment when you wake up. You only need to meet your body as if it matters, not just when it's sick, but especially when it's still trying its best for you. Take that moment seriously. It may feel small, but it's not. It's the seed of your next decade. When you drink water before anything else, when you breathe fully before checking headlines, when you move before stiffening, when you connect before isolating, when you thank your legs, your eyes, your heart, that's not self-care. That's self-respect. And that respect echoes. It shows up in your posture, in your energy, in your memory, in how you treat others, in how you weather storms. So tomorrow morning, before the world asks anything of you, ask this of yourself. Can I begin gently? Can I offer my body what it truly needs, not just what habit demands? Can I live this one day like it's a practice, not of endurance but of grace? Because in the end, no one remembers how many green smoothies you drank. They remember how alive you were, how present you felt. And that presence? It starts at sunrise. That's when everything begins again.